Hello and welcome everyone to this Warcraft replay. I almost screwed up that introduction. But anyway, this is not the WCA, this is from the MWCS, which means Mobile World Congress Shanghai. So this was, presumably in Shanghai. This is an ESL tournament, so yeah, it's not as big as WCA, but it has a reasonable prize pool of about $10,000. I'm assuming that's US, and this was played back in July. So obviously I was still tied up in WCA. I still am, but I'm trying to look for a very quick series to cast as I am currently in exam period. So yeah, and of course I don't want to leave my YouTube channel, dead for over a week, so I'm gonna try and cast within the 1 week period, but I think I am gonna miss that. Anyway, the ESL tournament has Chinese and Korean players, as well as an exception. We have Grubby, the king of the orcs, who, yeah, I don't know how well he's doing right now. As you guys may have known, or at least should know, that Grubby did transition over to StarCraft 2, but StarCraft 2 being very, very similar to the Warcraft 3 scene, as in dying, he probably isn't finding too much success. Either way, Lucifer spawning in as the red and undead player in the bottom left. Lucifer, I am pretty biased towards Lucifer. I do very much enjoy watching him play, even though he hasn't really found that much success these days. Probably because of his hiatus from his Korean military service, so that's probably the reason why. But anyway, he will be facing off against Fly, the blue orc player. Now, I've been wanting to also search for undead orc matchups, and funny enough, Fly is also in this game, or in this series, as well as we did see WFC Fly in my previous series. You guys may or may not have watched that. There's not that many orc players these days, or at least orc players at a high level. The only two come to mind is Fly and Focus, and yeah, honestly it's very easy to get those two mixed up because they names sound or is kind of similar. We are going to have the Blade Master starting out with the Overseer camp, but he is getting interrupted by the Death Knight, who will be looking for skeleton harassment there. The bit of the downsides of going for a Blade Master into an Overseer camp is that you either, let your Grunts tank it, or your Blade Master has to tank it, and none of which are ideal options. But hopefully the Blade Master will get those healing salves as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, the Death Knight is chasing around those pesky little peons there. I might be able to get his first bit of experience. Tier 2 for both players have started. Lucifer is slightly ahead, but I don't think that matters too much. Note that we did have a different start from WFZ series, as we get a very quick burst onto the Blade Master. Dust was used just in case Windwalk will be activated, but it does not seem like it. So Lucifer did go for the Tomb of Relics before the Graveyard, so it's, expect normally timed Crypt Fiends, and just a really normal curve in terms of transitioning. So WFC's build order, I don't know, it seemed like there was a window where things just could not really go his way, and yeah, if of course Fly, who he was facing, if Fly was able to understand that window, then he was able to abuse it, and yeah, he kinda did. Anyway, we hear the Windwalk from the Blade Master. He is nearby. He has a salve going on him as well, but he might be a little outnumbered to actually engage. His Windwalk is going to run out. Hopefully he will get out of range for that. Boosted speed has been picked up as well, so Windwalk even faster. We'll go for a creep steal here. Yes, we will actually. Death Knight did not even consider death coiling that Warden, and Blade Master is very, very close to getting that level 2 himself. And he will actually get it with the long distance creeping of the Null Overseer. Probably should have seen that item. Close attack +6. Okay, that is going to be pretty important for that Blade Master to actually pick up. Fly should realize that that was the item that was dropped, so yeah, that's pretty good. Blade Masters always love getting their plus whatever in terms of attack. Black Citadel has started for Lucifer, so it seems like we might be going for, you know, the pretty standard destroyer focus here. In my WC3 Fly series, someone did post going for Ted's, you know, alteration of the undead army composition, adding in banshees into the mix here, and I do kind of agree with that. The problem is the Blade Master still poses some threat, but then again, so does the Blade Master against sorceresses, so you know, why not? And yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what Lucifer's going to go for. He is no Ted, and I have like looked up my most recent undead orc matches. Basically any undead who is not Ted did not go for any sort of banshees, and that might be a little troubling. Banshees, I mean, they're really good when they curse the entire army, but yeah, that's only when the orc player doesn't go for any spirit walkers, which in the WC3 Fly series, definitely no spirit walkers were in play. It seems like Fly is also refraining from going Spirit Lodge in this game as well. So a little bit of a missed opportunity. The problem with Banshees is you gotta realize when to transition into them, I think. And yeah, it's actually really hard to focus on 3 production buildings while one basing. That's also a bit of a thing there. Unfortunately, you can't really afford to go Temple of the Damned, Slaughterhouse, and Crypt units. So yeah, you gotta choose one or the other, I think, or you gotta have a really, really weak overall army. We are gonna have a disappearance onto the Blade Master. The Troll Warlord will be taken out by the Death Knight's Death Coil, and the Flute of Accuracy has been picked up there. A pretty vital item, I think. Some of intelligence will actually get picked up by the Blade Master, I believe, as he creepjacks the Troll Trapper, despite Lucifer actually having eyes on him. So yes, Flute of Accuracy, very good with those Crypt Fiends and Lich, but it seems like the Death Knights are very, very looming to sell that particular item. Oh, okay, never mind. He picked up the Orb of Corruption and another set of Dust instead. Rock Golem Camp will be taken out by the Tauren Chieftain, who comes out as Fly's number 2. As we have seen in the previous series, Tauren Chieftain's pretty good at locking down those Crypt Fiends, and setting up opportunities for, you know, raiders to chain that ensnare, or just the Blade Master just straight up kill him. Right now, Blade Master running around with a pretty solid level 3 state. Normally, at this point, I guess Blade Masters would be pretty underleveled, because you still gotta prioritize leveling up your second hero, because, well, the second hero offers a lot more utility, I guess. Tauren Chieftain, it's the War Stomp and the Endurance Aura. Shadowhunter's the Hex and the Healing Wave. Blade Master, he's pretty one-dimensional. So, yeah. Coda Beast number 1 is coming out. Fly is going for a Shadowhunter as well as his number 3, so Fortress deck is in play. The Blade Master also has his Orb of Lightning, so he can immobilize for a second when he gets that proc on Dark Ranger for Lucifer as his 3rd hero. Pretty solid way of dealing with the Tauren Chieftain, I believe. Dust Appearance will be used, but the Blade Master gets the item regardless, and he uses it. I think he uses it. No, he does not. The item gets picked up by Lucifer, and it was the Robe of Magi +6. Coda Beast running in, going for a quick bite, and running out without paying. Scroll speed was used. In fact, the Orc army is here. I thought it was just the Coda Beast and the Shadow Hunter, but it seems like the entire Orc army is wanting to fight, and it seems like the Destroyer will get taken out. Level 3 for the Tyrant Chieftain, so I believe the War Stomp level 2 is available, but the Silence is a little bit of a problem. The Silence wears out, and instantly we have the War Stomp going on. Lucifer is decisively losing this battle. Another Ensnare goes on, and the Tyrant Chieftain might go for another War Stomp. It does not seem like it, as Lucifer is going to queue up a TP back home. So, a pretty disastrous loss there from Lucifer, in fact, and I feel very worried for him. He lost himself a couple of Crypt Fiends. He also lost his own Destroyer. This is not looking good for him, and, well, yeah, Lucifer has an extra Acolyte that might turn into a Shade later on, but we shall see. Lucifer, I mean, it wasn't really a good fight to begin with, I don't think. A second Fluid of Accuracy will be picked up, so that's probably going to be sold. Actually, absolutely sold. So yeah, it's a bit of a problem, honestly, with the Undead comp here. Because a well-rounded Orc comp is just generally a lot better than a well-rounded Undead comp. And the problem is, Lucifer doesn't actually have a well-rounded comp at all. It's just Crypt Fiends and Destroyers. They don't really cover each other's bases, and yeah, it's just a really big problem. Coders can deal with Crypt Fiends very well as the Tyrant Chieftain. Destroyers, they are going to get dealt with by those Raiders and the Troll Headhunters, as we now see coming into the mix here from Fly. Tyrant Chieftain taking quite a bit of a beating. Should be a little careful there. The Ogre Magi, definitely not someone you should underestimate, especially with the inner fire in them. But yeah, Manual of Health probably will be picked up by the Shadow Hunter, as, well, health is a lot more valuable on the low health ones. Level 3, very close to 4 on the Tyrant Chieftain, halfway to level 3 on the Shadow Hunters. Troll Berserker has been upgraded for those Headhunters, so they will be able to get that Berserk state. So, if you don't know what the Berserk state is, it gives them 50% attack speed, but I believe they receive 50% more damage. I think it's 50%. But anyway, it's a very double-edged sword, kind of like Blade Master running around. Still level 3, he still has his Lightning Ball, and he has another set of claws, so he should be very happy reaching that 30 mark of the bonus attack. And Rogue Protection plus 4, not particularly useful, so I imagine that will be sold very soon. Skeleton scouting around Lucifer. Haven't seen Lucifer's army for a little while. He is still focusing on multiple obsidian statues for those destroyers. A double flute again, so yeah, not very lucky for Lucifer, but at least he will sell that for gold. He could maybe burst down the Tyrant Chieftain. I was imagining a Silence coming down, but that is not going to happen, and the Invulnerability Potion will be used right after the Death Coil, the Nova Coil combo. But, wow, the Blade Master gets taken out immediately, and that might actually be the turning point. Fly running out with his Coda Beast, Crypt Fiend in the belly, but that is not going to matter, as the Crypt Fiend gets saved by his compassionate allies, and this did not turn out well at all. The Death Coil gets tossed at the Tyrant Chieftain, and I'm actually surprised that this is actually Fly's the one that's retreating. That was very sudden, and that is going to be a long distance Death Coil, taking out the Tyrant Chieftain level 3, and the level 2 Shadow Hunter can't really handle this entire undead army by himself. He also doesn't have TP Scroll, I believe. I believe that was in the inventory of the Blade Master. Wow, that's game, because like, no matter what, Lucifer will burst down any other hero that comes near him. Coda Beast gets taken down. That is very unfortunate for Fly. He is gonna try and, I guess, take as many camps as possible, try to power up his heroes before going to this very big fight. Blade Master Sadly, the altar was taken down, so he had to get tabbed and revived instead. The downside is he is going to start with no mana, so windwalks are probably never going to happen. Fortification on those orc burrows, but they will drop eventually, and this is surprisingly working out for Fly. Not for Fly, for Lucifer. Nova onto a raider. I'm actually surprised that he would be willing to invest mana onto just normal units. I would imagine the focus fire on the heroes is a lot more important. Invulnerability potion has been given over to the Torrent Chieftain, but he gets bursted down immediately. I don't exactly remember if silence affects the inventory usage, but if that is the case, then the silence was pretty damn important there. Fly is going to give the GG, and that is going to be game 1 of this best of 3. Lucifer taking it 1-0, so at least he can win against orcs. Oh well, there's plenty of humans left, however, and Lucifer might not be able to fare against them. I will see you guys in game 2.